What is going on, everybody? And today we are going to talk about, is Townhall 16 good for Clash of Clans? What's going on, everybody? It's Kyle here, aka The Woodshed, and you guys heard me right. Today we're going to be talking about Townhall 16 as a whole, and is it good for Clash of Clans? So, most importantly, it's important to note what changed with the update for Townhall 16. Neutral, the Root Rider, which I'm actually kind of a fan of. Slick absolutely loves using it. I'm not as big a fan as he is, but I do think the Root Rider is a cool idea. Of course, a new set level on walls. We got the Ricochet Cannon and the Multi-Archer Tower. Not as big a fan of those. I kind of like the Ricochet Cannon and the Multi-Archer Tower is cool, but I'm not as big a fan of it. The new hero pet, which realistically, she's been upgrading since I started with the new update. So I haven't got to use her a ton. She seems okay. I don't know that she'll take place for me, but I think she should, because I think she can be very strong. I just don't know how to use her quite yet because I haven't tested her. Air Defense has got a new level. Wizard Towers, X-Bows got a new level. Mortars did too. Mortars, who cares about at this point? In Clash, for me, personally at least. I'm sorry if you're a big Mortar fan. So those were kind of the changes that happened with Townhall 16. Now here's the question, do I think they're good for the game? I don't think so. And I kind of hate to say that. I think they're bad for the casual player, necessarily. I think they're actually good for people who play the game a ton, such as myself and some of my clanmates like Buck, who plays a ton. Beam, who was here with us for a little bit, who played a ton. I think it was really good for people like us because we had times to grind out the wars, grind out the resources. I think it was great for the average player who realistically has a very, very low chance to ever see Townhall 15 or 16, even 14 at that point. Most people, I believe, they're in 12 and 13 at the higher end. So I think it's pretty just unlikely for a lot of people to even see 15 or 16, right? So I don't necessarily think it's good for the game, because for one, it's getting to the point where a lot of the casual base isn't going to be able to play it, especially a lot of free-to-play players, right? It's just going to be so far away for so many people that you're just not going to get to try it, which is a little bit hard for the casual player to make it enjoy, right? A lot of people will never get to see the Root Rider. They won't get to see half the pets in the damn pet house, right? And on top of that, somebody who, like, for example, and this is something big with me, especially with the blacksmith over here, right? If you're not a fan of wars, which I'm not a super big fan of wars. The reason that we war nonstop is to level the clan, and because there's a lot of people who around us who aren't like me who enjoy it. And I have heroes, and I could always use some more loot. And it's something different for me to do, but I don't love wars. There's a lot of people who don't, and if you don't love wars, you don't get a lot of those new ores, which means you really struggle to upgrade hero abilities, and you don't get nearly as much of the benefit for actually upgrading heroes anymore, which is such a damn shame. I think it was nice to tie them to the hero level, and I think having the option for different ones is nice. I think them having to start over with their types of upgrades, I think that's very, very hard on the game, and especially for people who don't want to war all the time. People who don't want, if you're upgrading your heroes, you're not going to be in wars for a lot of them. A great example is Zan, who's been in the feeder clan, who recently got moved to the main clan. I absolutely love Zan, but he's like, hey man, I forgot to tell you that I don't have any heroes. Is it okay if I'm still in war? The other Townhall 12s can carry me. I said, that's not something we want to be able to rely on. He goes, well, I really need that ore. I said, buddy, you got to have, like, one hero I might consider, because you could still live with it, but it's just so hard now with no heroes still trying to get that ore, because that's how you upgrade them, right? That's how you upgrade your hero abilities, which is the strongest part to your heroes, right? So, not a particular fan of it. I'm going to be honest. I think Townhall 16 is fun because I have the time to play and it doesn't drastically impact me, at least not that much. So, I'm a fan of it. I don't necessarily think it's good for the game of Clash of Clans, and I feel bad saying that. The Root Rider's cool at Townhall 15 and 16. Why the hell am I upgrading my walls if I have a troop who doesn't even slow down to go through them? She just runs straight through them, right? Slick's been a big fan of using Electro Titans and Root Riders, more Root Riders, but 2 or 3 Electro Titans takes care of the clan castle. The Root Riders take care of the actual walls and a lot of those defenses. I mean, it's just, man, what's the damn point to upgrading the walls? I still am, because I have so much elixir and gold at certain points that I'd rather spend it on walls and overflow, which I think is where a lot of people's at. But man, it's so much, and I just don't know how to feel about it. It's just too much for me personally. And some of these things I enjoy, right? Like you'll see I'm using the Rage Gem on the Warden. I think that's so cool. I think that's awesome. I also hate all the Archer Queen abilities that weren't her default abilities. So I'm so just like, I don't know how to feel. I don't think it's good for the game. I do enjoy it because I'm not just a max Townhall 15 anymore. There's more stuff for me to do. And I love this game, so I'm enjoying that part of it. But I don't know that I necessarily think that the Townhall 16 is going to be good for Clash, especially for the casual player base, right? Another pretty important thing to note about, too, especially with Townhall 16, and I think this might be why Townhall 16 feels a little underwhelming for me, and we're actually going to show you guys an example of the E-Titan Root Rider Smash that Slick has been using. I think part of why it feels underwhelming is there's actually less buildings on the base now, only by 1. But with the multi-archers and the ricochet cannons, the multi-archers aren't that strong, in my opinion, if I'd thought about it. Or I guess if I'd have known ahead of time. I wouldn't have done those at all. I would have just straight up just kept the archer towers and just done ricochet cannons. I think ricochet cannons are actually pretty strong, but they don't affect me because I'm an air-based attacker. So they don't affect me almost at all. So so for me, Townhall 15 and 16s feel, for the most part, not always, but for the most part, drastically easier for me to attack. So those have gotten easier. Multi-archers just aren't worth it, in my opinion, man. They're just not strong enough. If you ask me, I think offense has gotten a little too weak, or defense has gotten a little too weak on the higher side of the gameplay for this to really be a fantastic update for like the pro scene and like the really high-end trophy pushers, guys like that. But I think it's also pushing it too far away from the casual player because there's way too much to go on now. There's just so much doing. And I apologize that my thoughts are a little over the place as far as this update goes. But that's the best way I can describe it, right? I mean, it's just got me so in a bag of mixed emotions. I enjoy it because my trophy pushing is just so much easier, it feels like. I'm trophy pushing for half the season after Clan War League at this moment and still ending up in 56, 57, 5800 trophies, which I think is pretty cool, but it's almost too easy, right? It used to take me all season to get to 56, 57, 5800 trophies, and now I'm doing it over the course of half the season because I'm worried about CWL more than anything else. So, I don't know, guys. I really just have such a mixed bag of emotions about Townhall 16. Hopefully when the rest of Townhall 16 comes out, like the other half of the offense or the defensive upgrades, right? Hopefully that kind of solidifies it. We get some more new stuff with the game that kind of just really ties everything together. It gets a little harder because a lot of these things are going to get new levels, like the Archer Towers, like the Teslas, hopefully the Monolith and the Scattershot. And they do make it a little harder on the top end, so people who are really good at the game, like the pros and the really high-end trophy pushers, don't just flatten everybody. And people who play more casually can enjoy it a little bit more. But again, at Townhall 16, I think they're pushing away a little far from that side. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe. It does help support the channel, and I appreciate it a lot. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, everybody.